4 hits from American hero Mike Ford and a complete game shutout from Logan Gilbert gives the Mariners their 4th win in a row on a 4th of July to remember. Let's talk about it here on the Locked On Mariners postgame show. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Tuesday, July 4th, 2023. This is Trident Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners postgame show. Thank you so much for making us your first listen. Subscribe, like, and turn on alerts if you're watching on YouTube, or subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your preferred podcast platform if you like what you hear. And if you're part of the crew and rock with us every single day, let us know in the comments below. And if you want to hear from us even more, please consider signing up for our Patreon. You can now get a free 7-day trial to check out the show. The link, as well as our social accounts, is in the description of this episode. Happy 4th of July. Happy birthday, Mike Ford. The Mariners win 6-0 to take a series from the Giants on the back of the first complete game shutout of Logan Gilbert's career, and a great day at the plate for Ford and the Mariners offense. Colby, we've had very few wins that have been as fun as this one. How are you feeling?
Fine. It was okay. It was pretty good. It was a lot of fun today. We had the big come from behind victory last night. I mean, it doesn't seem like it because they were in the game the entire time, but that is a comeback victory. And then, you still have the drama in the ninth because of course you do. Why wouldn't there be drama? And you come back today and you kind of look at what's on tap for tomorrow, and you see just how important today's game is, because tomorrow it's the Darren McCacken and Tommy Malone show, which with a bullpen that if Gilbert didn't get deep into this game was going to be taxed even more, and they don't have an off day before the break. And you just kind of come into this being like, man, it feels like they need to win this one. And boy, did they. They get their best pitching performance of the year. The offense was pretty good. Anytime you score 6, that's plenty good. But, they did leave some guys on base. Okay, whatever. They created a ton of traffic. But, hey, Mike Ford cleaned up today. AJ Pollock gets in the game for the first time in like 3 weeks. And what does he do? Base hit, home run, had another RBI that was stolen from him by Geno's, let's be nice and call it dumb, base running. But we're not here to talk about the negative. It's the vibes are good right now, and they haven't been this good probably since opening day. We're just 4-game winning streak. It's tied for the longest win streak of the year. You've done it against good teams. You've done it on the road now and at home. You've gotten really good offense in some of these games. You've gotten really good pitching in a lot of these games. So, you're feeling good. I would stop short of saying we're back or like, yeah, here's the run, because, if there's one thing this Mariners team has taught you, this Mariners team in 2023, it's that the other shoe can drop at any point for any length of time. So, you're still a little cautiously optimistic, but thankfully it looks like they're building towards, a strong second half. They're building momentum. The Astro series is still crucial, and obviously you want to win tomorrow to, take a little bit of pressure off of winning that series in Houston. But at the end of the day, the Mariners have won 4 in a row. They've won 4 in a row against good teams. They honestly make a pretty good argument they should have won 5 in a row, and they might have if Bryce Miller doesn't have to leave that game with the blister issue. So they're playing pretty good ball, minus like the 1 inning against Tampa. They're playing good ball right now. The offense has been cooking really for the last almost month now. Still some inconsistencies there, but they're putting up 4, 5, 6 runs a night pretty consistently. They're getting production from spots they weren't before. They're getting production from second base. They're getting production from the DH spot. They're getting production from the bench in the form of Tom Murphy, definitely not Dylan Moore. Everything's just kind of rolling right now. So it's good. You want to see them build up this momentum. You want to see them finish strong and kind of push ownership and push Jerry and Justin to go out and believe in this team so that they are willing to go and maybe go get the pricey rental, instead of just focusing on it has to be club control. There's a long way to go. They dug themselves a hole. We know this, but all you can do is just keep winning ball games and don't worry about the scoreboard. The scoreboard will take care of itself. Win games, keep playing well, and you're going to be right back in this thing. And it's good to see right before the break, because this easily could have turned the other direction after they blew that game on Friday. You're looking at that one going, man, if they, they could easily run off a 4, 5, 6 game losing streak here. And if they do that, game's over. And instead, like we talked about, or like we questioned on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, like, can this team, get off the mat after it got punched in the face? And the last 4 days has proven, yes, they can. They have to continue to do it, but vibes are pretty good right now. So, hopefully they keep it rolling tomorrow. And it's been fun the last 4 days, because we've even seen the chaos element kind of reintroduced. I mean, Mike Ford scored on a wild pitch today. Like, come on. So yeah, hopefully this is a sign of things to come. And for now, since we don't know the answer to that, for now, it's just fun. They're playing good ball against good baseball teams, and that's all you can really hope for.
12 combined runs over these first 2 games in San Francisco against a solid San Francisco pitching staff. A lot of traffic on the base paths too, and the Mariners are converting with those guys on base. So it's a good recipe there. Mike Ford, obviously, real big part of this thing. We're going to talk about him a little later, though, because I mean, we could easily lead the show off with talking about Mike Ford, but Logan Gilbert just threw the first complete game shutout for the Mariners in nearly 4 years. The last pitcher to do that for the M's, Yusei Kikuchi, August 18th, 2019 in Toronto, a game that I was at. So Gilbert goes 9 scoreless. Obviously, that's what a complete game shutout is. He nearly throws a Maddox, 105 pitches, 7 strikeouts, most importantly, no walks. So break it down for us. How was he able to pull this off?
Yeah, this was kind of more of an old school Gilbert. This year, we've really seen the splitter kind of take over as his primary secondary pitch. And he still threw it today. The splitter was pretty good. He threw it 17 times. He got 3 whiffs, 2 called strikes on it. That's not a bad ratio for that pitch. But what it really was today, it was fastball slider from Logan, which is how he's dominated teams prior to this year. When he has those 2 pitches, he's very tough to hit. And when you throw in the splitter, it makes it all the more difficult. The fastball he threw 41% of the time. The slider he threw 34% of the time. He got 23 swings on the slider, 12 whiffs, 52% on the slider. That's a number we haven't seen from Gilbert in a long time. He also managed to get 7 whiffs on the fastball, so he was getting value there. But really, it was the slider was the difference today for Logan. And the fastball was good. It actually had more horizontal break than average, about 2 inches more. And you could see that. Not a ton of hard contact, some, but not a ton. Gilbert's velocity was really good. It's interesting. I wouldn't say that he had like pinpoint command today. There were pitches left in the middle of the plate. They just couldn't square it up. And that's part of that is, not being used to seeing Gilbert's extension. He is a unique pitcher that the Giants don't get to see that often. And also because he has the splitter, because he has the slider that he can throw for a strike, you have to respect it, which makes you just a little bit later on the fastball. You look at that 3-pitch inning, he threw 3 fastballs. They were all pretty much down the middle of the plate and nothing. First one got hit pretty hard, but that was it. And so, and that's because he was spotting the slider. It's because he could throw it for a strike, and because he threw the splitter enough that it's in the back of the mind of these hitters. They have to respect it, and it makes the fastball play up even more. So it was a really good outing from Gilbert. Obviously, any complete game shutout is. Just missed the Maddox. He almost had a second 3-pitch inning, which would have been just incredible. I mean, I'm sure Goldsmith would have loved that. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a good game, obviously, for Logan, and it's exactly what you needed, because you weren't going to have Munoz today. You weren't going to have Sewald today. And again, you don't have a day off until the All-Star break. So you're going to have a kind of pseudo bullpen game tomorrow. Like, you needed Logan Gilbert to go 6-7 innings tonight. You had to have that. Yeah. He went 9. Day off for everybody in the bullpen. You couldn't have drawn it up any better. And kind of the key here, I think, is the 2-run home run from AJ Pollock, which kind of removes the pressure. Also, Julio's RBI to make it 4-0 really takes the pressure off, allows Gilbert to kind of, be aggressive in the zone. He doesn't have to worry about making a mistake, and boom, San Francisco's right back in it. And he was so aggressive in the strike zone all day. But today was the slider. It was kind of a throwback to Logan Gilbert, where his slider was the true weapon today, and it was filthy. And I mean, it's hard to do much better than Logan Gilbert. I suppose he could have not given up the 5 hits if you really wanted to nitpick. I suppose he could have thrown 6 fewer pitches if you really want to nitpick. But yeah, that's about as good as it gets from Logan Gilbert. And he's going to get one more start. He'll get the last start of the first half. Hopefully he can obviously not repeat. That'd be asking a bit much, but just go out there, attack, be aggressive, and hopefully he has this slider because it's a game changer for him.
L to the OG. Do be the OG. AN, he playing like a pro. All right. We're talking Mike Ford. The Mariners also added 2 All-Stars this afternoon, so we're going to be talking about that in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners postgame show is brought to you by FanDuel. Take your first swing at betting on MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets. That's up to $200. That's right, just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend betting on everything from the money line to the over-under to who is going to hit the first home run, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you can get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, official partner, Major League Baseball. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners postgame show. Thank you again for making us your first listen after the Mariners 6-0 win over the San Francisco Giants. They're going for the sweep tomorrow night, folks. And you can catch all the action on the Mariners' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM via the SXM app. Michael Harrison Ford. Happy birthday. What a birthday that was for Mike Ford. He gets the single and, of course, later scores on the wild pitch, which was an insane play. He homers to McCovey Cove, or almost. Did it actually reach the Cove? No, it didn't.
No.
That's sad. But he homered to that general vicinity.
Sure. He got it over the high wall, which is impressive.
Got it over the high wall,
in its own. So
yeah, that was awesome. And he hits 2 doubles afterwards. We were hoping for the birthday cycle. But
right,
Mike Ford, as we saw on his wild pitch score, not the fastest dude in the world. So he doubled down the left field line, with everyone playing over a bit, and again he had to settle for a double. So, but hey, 2 doubles, a home run, a single. He was responsible for 3 of the Mariners' 6 runs today. Pretty awesome. So, Ford now is up to, before he struck out, he was at a 162 WRC plus. I haven't checked since the strikeout, but he's got to be somewhere in the 150 range.
Sure.
He's playing great baseball right now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Ford right now?
And all of you said you couldn't trade Ty France because you couldn't possibly replace Ty France. Mike Ford, baby. Boom.
Of course.
This is the greatest American Ford ever. Except for maybe Harrison, which is his middle name. How about that? Did you guys know that?
I literally just said that 2 minutes ago.
Nobody's listening to you, Ty.
That's right. You certainly aren't.
Mike's been great. Really over the last couple of days, early on he was kind of home run, walk, or strikeout, and that was kind of what he was. But lately we've seen him go the other way. We've seen him, dump in singles into right center or left center field. He went, lefty and hit an opposite field double today. That was great to see. And Ford just looks locked in. It's interesting. He's striking out more than he has in his past big league stints. He's walking a lot less, but he's better than he's ever been at the big league level. He's just being really aggressive with the fastballs. And even he's even guessing at times. He's guessing I'm going to get a fastball, and he'll swing, and he'll have some ugly swings. He'll miss pitches by a foot because he's expecting a fastball. But he's just guessing right now correctly. And he's staying behind the ball. He's letting it travel. He's not afraid to get beat by velocity. And he's hitting singles now. He's hitting doubles, and he does still have the power. It's tough to feel like this is going to last too long because there's nothing really in Ford's history that would suggest that this is legitimate, at least, over the course of an entire season. But hey, you know what? Sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle like you did with Carlos Santana last year, and you get a guy who just comes up in these big moments, or he just has these, amazing at bats. Maybe he's, this Mariners team's Steve Pearce, if you guys remember him. who just kind of caught fire randomly for the Red Sox a few years ago and, help lead them to a World Series. Maybe Mike Ford is that type of guy for this team. But, at the end of the day, regardless of what he is or isn't, Ford has been huge for Seattle. Just really fixed the DH spot almost by himself, and really kept, that spot afloat for the better part of a month now. So, hat tip to Mike Ford. And by the way, last night, I don't know how much we're going to get to talk about last night, but Jose Caballero steals the headlines. He steals second, draws a couple pickoff throws to second. They don't get him. He steals third on a bunt attempt. And then, all the base running, all that stuff. He kind of creates a run by himself. He doesn't get a chance to do that. And Mike Ford doesn't get a hit to start off the ninth. So Ford, again, last night contributing huge to that win. The Mariners have found kind of value from their system in places we didn't expect. You look at what Caballero has done. You look at what Mike Ford's done. They've been huge for the Mariners the last month. And it was cool to see Ford on his birthday kind of cap off what's been a really good run. And hopefully it continues. There's no reason for it not to. But for now, you just kind of ride the ride and enjoy it. But Mike Ford today, yesterday, the day before, he's just been really good. I mean, obviously a 160 whatever WRC plus in any amount of time is pretty impressive. But it's been about a month now that Ford's been up with the big club, and he's definitely earning more opportunities. Like we saw him get a lefty on lefty at bat today, and he doubled. So we'll see how the Mariners want to approach him going forward. But it's been an absolute blast to watch Ford run. He's got some of that fun factor too. So it's been a good find for Jerry and Justin, and exactly what the Mariners have needed, even if it hasn't resulted in a ton of wins quite yet.
And I had multiple people in my Twitter mentions this morning saying DFA Mike Ford for Nelson Cruz. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. We have a show to do before tomorrow's game, so we'll spend some time on that. We'll talk about the idea of Nelson Cruz and all that stuff later. This was a great day for Ford. Great day for the offense in general. Against a rookie pitcher making, I believe, his second career start, Keaton Wynn, goes 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, a lot of hard hit balls. The Mariners are hitting the hell out of the ball in San Francisco right now. Last night, I think 6 of their first 9 balls put in play were hard hits. So they're putting together some quality at bats right now. 3 hard hits for JP today. 1 for Julio, 2 for Teoscar, 3 for Mike Ford, of course, 1 for Gino, 1 for Tom Murphy, 1 for Colton Wong, and 2 for AJ Pollock. Big day for the offense. Needed it. Absolutely needed it. And you're going to need it again tomorrow, because who knows how that pitching situation is going to go for you tomorrow. We'll see. Fingers crossed. You can catch all the action on the Mariners hometown broadcast with SiriusXM via the SXM app, of course. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Thank you again for making us your first listen after the Mariners 6-0 win over the San Francisco Giants. Colby, we got some news right after the game. The good vibes did not just start or stop with the win. The Mariners have added 2 All-Stars.
Have they?
Yes.
Who might they be, Ty?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who might they be?
We'll get to it. We'll get to it in a second. Of course, the Mariners already had 1 All-Star in Luis Castillo. George Kirby, first-time All-Star.
Congratulations.
Who replaces Shane McClanahan? Well, there's some confusion on the front. Is it Framber
Either
Valdez? Is it Shane McClanahan? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Though it would be funny if the 2 players that the Mariners replaced today were Astros. There's at least one, though. But
okay,
whatever. Sure, whatever. So Kirby becomes the 3rd homegrown player to make the All-Star game as a Mariner in the Dipoto era.
Who's the other one, Ty?
Julio Rodriguez. And Edwin Diaz. We'll get to that in the game. We'll get to that in a second. We will get to that in a second. Okay. Edwin Diaz, of course, the other one. Diaz, of course, brought into the organization by Jack Zduriencik and company. Yes. So 2 Dipoto era players have now made the All-Star game, and now the second time, that's right, Julio Rodriguez I'm sure you guys remember a certain conversation that Colby and I had on this very show. I don't know, 3 weeks or so ago.
Major League Baseball wouldn't put Julio in the All-Star game because he didn't earn it. That's weird.
Okay, to be fair, he needed a lot to happen in order for him to get into the All-Star.
He needed 2 guys to drop out.
Aaron Judge, Mike Trout today, and now Yordan Alvarez.
It's unusual for 3 guys to skip the All-Star game. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
He wasn't initially selected.
Ty's out here gatekeeping the All-Star game like it matters. But
anyway, congratulations to Julio, who's been playing a lot better as of late.
Mm-hmm.
He's up to nearly 2.5 wins on Fangraphs now. So well-deserved. Obviously, he's on pace for some pretty huge numbers, despite
home runs, stolen base ones.
Yeah.
On base needs to be better, sure, of course.
Despite the WRC plus being only 105 heading into today's game, which is slightly above average, but that's not necessarily where you want Julio to be, right?
Yeah.
At his peak, at least. But yeah, nevertheless, awesome. So there you go. 3 Mariners All-Stars now, not just 1, 3. So it's not as much of a disaster.
It's over, Ty. Oh no, push the panic button. There's only 1 Mariner in the All-Star game. No, now there's 3.
Now there's 3. And maybe like I feel like there's probably going to be another wave of replacements at some point. Maybe there's the possibility of 1 more getting in there. Paul Sewald.
Sewald is your best bet for a 4th. I don't think it'll be Gilbert. Plus Gilbert pitches on Sunday now, so he couldn't pitch anyways in that game. So maybe Sewald, but they have already used a reliever spot on somebody else. So we'll see, but 3 is fine. All 3 are certainly deserving of All-Star nods, despite what Ty will tell you. So, it's cool to see, just kind of a continuation of the good vibes and all that stuff. And George, honestly, I wasn't surprised he didn't get in on the initial turn through, but I felt like he definitely deserved to. Sometimes you just get squeezed out, and remember, every team has to have a rep, so. Sometimes,
one of those spots was taken by the Tigers lone rep, Michael Lorenzen. So,
which,
yeah.
So, if you wonder how bad the Tigers are. One of the outfield spots was taken by Brent Rooker. Julio's better than Brent.
Actually, it was DH.
Oh, is he the other DH? Okay.
He got it. Yeah, he's the other DH aside from Ohtani.
Cool. All right.
And that's why Yordan.
Yordan was an outfielder. Yeah,
he was an outfielder, which opened the door for Julio. Well, it didn't necessarily because
they replaced one of the outfielders with Wander Franco. So
they replaced Judge with Franco.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it doesn't look like our JP thing will be successful, but who knows? We'll see how that goes. And obviously, by the way, guys, we didn't forget about our giveaway. We're just waiting until the All-Star rosters are locked in, because if JP did sneak his way on board, I got to send you guys the winner a box of stuff. So, probably Friday. I feel like we'll know the rosters are locked in, and we'll send that out. We'll pick a winner and send that out. But 3 All-Stars for the Mariners, 3 deserving All-Stars. And I think you can make a legitimate case for Paul Sewald. Certainly, I think if Munoz was healthy all year, he would have a really good case. And honestly,
if Teo was playing the way that he has for the last month,
Yeah, Teo's been an all-star quality player for the last month. Gilbert, just one too many bad starts, just one or two too many to be seriously considered. But the Mariners, in an alternate universe where everything goes a little bit differently, they have 5-6 all-stars on this team. So again, it's not a talent issue. It's never been a talent issue on this squad. But obviously congratulations to George. It's his first. So it's always a little special. Julio, kind of setting himself up to be like the Mariners lifer, is going to get to play in an all-star game. Probably the only one that will be hosted in his home ballpark in his entire career. And that's pretty special. So regardless of whether or not you think Julio deserves it or not, it's cool. It's absolutely cool.
No,
J-Rod squad is going to be out there. Julio's going to be playing center field. Hopefully, don't screw this up, Dusty. You better get Julio in this game. So it's cool. At the end of the day, it's cool. And if Julio, if he needed to catch a little break here to get into the game, nobody's going to care about that in 10 years. Nobody should care about it now, to be quite honest. It's cool. It's really cool. These guys are going to get to play. And probably, again, the All-Star games come around once every 20, 25 years, if you're lucky. So this is probably the only time these 3 guys will get a chance to play in front of their home crowd at an All-Star game. pending trades. But it's the only time they'll do it in Seattle. So it's a big deal, and congratulations to them. Absolutely deserved.
Congratulations to Luis. Congratulations to George, and congratulations to Julio on making the All-Star team. And we'll see if maybe one more guy can sneak in if there's any other dropouts, which could happen. We'll see. Friday is probably the cutoff. Maybe Saturday at the latest. So we'll see.
Typically, they know who's pitching on Sunday, and then they know who to drop out and all that stuff by Friday.
But for everything that I've said about Julio in the All-Star game, it is really cool that he is going to make it. And it was going to be weird if he performed in the home run derby and then wasn't playing in the game the next day. Like that would have been really strange. So I'm glad that he's in it. Yeah.
By the way, Ty, I don't know if you saw. I know we had some fun at the Future Game coaching staffs or whatever. Like Jeremy Reed is Raul Ibanez hitting coach. Do you know what the trade off for that was?
What?
I saw it. I was watching the post game waiting for you to get ready, and apparently Harold and Raul had this agreement that they were going to wait like 2 weeks after they found out they were going to be the manager, and then they would just kind of like build their staffs kind of together ish and make sure that. And apparently Raul, which this makes sense, Raul lives in Florida. He is like neighbors with Felix. Like they live in the same neighborhood. And Raul made it 3 days before he asked Felix to be his pitching coach. And then Reynolds made it like a week before he asked Felix. And Felix told him, nah, I'm Raul. And so that's how they kind of like, okay, you kind of cheated to get Felix, but whatever, you get him. And that's why Harold Reynolds' staff is certainly more star-studded. I don't know if you saw some of the new addition.
Gotcha.
Jay Buhner is going to be the first base coach.
Nice.
Mike Cameron is the third base coach.
Nice.
Beltre, his bench coach, I think is how it is. He might be on Raul's staff. I can't quite remember, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of, past mayors. Dan Wilson is on the staff, and yes, Jeremy Reed is indeed on the coaching staff. So
that's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah. Apparently Felix is going to make all the pitching changes. So if you're going to the Futures game, you can give Felix a round of applause every time he goes out there, which I don't know if that's going to be often because typically those are scheduled like 1 inning appearances, but whatever. That's going to be fun. You can chat up Jay Buhner on the first baseline. You can chat up Cammy on the first baseline. Alvin Davis is going to be there. Pretty much all the Mariners Hall of Famers are going to be there. Ichiro Edgar not participating. Neither is Griffey in the Futures game. I am very confident that they will be at that game and they'll be around. So it's going to be
Griffey will definitely be at the Swingman Classic.
Yes, absolutely. He'll be. I bet he's on the field at the home run derby, taking pictures and all that stuff too. That's kind of what he does.
Yeah.
I would bet pretty much every notable Mariners like legend will be there. We'll see if Randy Johnson and Kyle Seager show up. I kind of doubt it, but whatever. Water under the bridge. They can do what they want. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Hopefully the Mariners will be going into the All-Star break with some momentum and playing good ball. They're certainly off to a good start, but I'm probably honestly looking forward more to the non-All-Star game festivities more than the All-Star game itself. Like that, we got the draft on Sunday. The Mariners have 4 picks. Futures game, we get to see Harry Ford and Jonathan Clase, and you get to see all the old guys come back and kind of interact with the fans. That's going to be a lot of fun. The Swingman Classic looks like that's going to be a really fun event. That's going to start, this is the first one, and it's going to be a continuing thing for Major League Baseball. It's just awesome. There's a lot of fun things that are happening in Seattle. So if you have the opportunity to go, I say go for it. Tickets to the Derby and the Derby and the All-Star game are very expensive, but everything else that's happening is free or very cheap. So I would recommend checking that out if you can. And I just, I'm looking forward, honestly, for us. It's a little bit of double-edged sword because we do shows on those weeks, on the All-Star break week, and there's not a ton to talk about on All-Star break weekend.
We're committing 30 minutes to the Derby. That's right.
Sure. I mean, it'll be probably a lot of draft stuff, honestly.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the draft a lot.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. It's fun, again, I don't love the All-Star game, but I do like everything around it, especially when it's in a city I care about. So the draft is fun. I really like what they're doing with the Swingman Classic. The Futures game is great because it's a lot of Mariners and all that stuff, guys you care about. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. And we'll get to see Julio compete in the Derby and obviously play in the game. And we'll see if we get to see Castillo and Kirby pitch. There's no guarantee that both or either of them do, but pretty safe bet at least one of them will. So,
well, Service is there. He'll be in the dugout. So
yes, if there's one thing we know
hopefully-
about Scott Service and Dusty Baker, they famously get along very well.
Yeah.
So,
Scott, though, like if you're not super comfortable with your guys pitching, feel free to put your foot down.
Sure.
I give you permission on that front.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun and probably the only All-Star game I'll actually watch in its entirety because it's in Seattle. But
Right.
It's a chance to show off your city, show off your ballpark, and show off the fans. And I hope it goes well. But more importantly, I hope the Mariners win like 4 of the next 5, at least 3 of the next 5, at least 3.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, fun win today. Fun stuff all around with the All-Star game announcements and everything. So vibes are a bit better right now, revolving around the Mariners. Let's see if they can keep it going, though. They're at 500. They've been at this point a lot this year. So
that's when it gets scary.
Yeah. Just don't lose like your next 3. Just don't do that, please. All right.
You can lose 2 of them. Okay, 2 of the next 3. I prefer you win 2 of the next 3, but you can lose 2. It's okay. But then you got to win the next 2. But you get it.
Well, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your 4th of July. Please stay safe
Don't
out there.
hurt me
That's going to
again.
do it. Yeah. That's going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners postgame show. For Colby Patnode, I'm Trident Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Dane Gonzalez. That's DANEGNZLZ. And Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok as well over at Locked On Mariners. It's one word, Locked On Mariners. You can also find all that stuff in the description of this episode. Again, you can catch the Mariners going for the sweep tomorrow night in San Francisco on the Mariners hometown broadcast of SiriusXM via the SXM app. Thank you again for making us your first listen after the Mariners 6-0 win over the San Francisco Giants. Have yourself a beautiful baseball night. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.